What is going on, everyone? Badger here. Should have like and sub, and let's get into this. This is a developing story, of course, DEI and agenda and all that. It finds its way into everything. It was only a matter of time before it happened to Warhammer. And again, I have never even gotten into Warhammer. I was waiting to see how the Henry show went before really doing a deep dive, because Warhammer 40K, that means there's 40,000 years literally of in-game, in-universe lore, hundreds of. Warhammer might be one of the largest lores of any thing like this out there. You let me know that in the comments. But yeah, even more lore than Lord of the Rings. All right, it's a lot of lore. That being said, they are changing and retconning it now, and this has been confirmed by multiple people, including one of the authors of some of the books. So here we have author Isaac Young explains how Games Workshop is defacing Warhammer 40,000 by adding female Adeptus Custodes. Isaac Young, the author of Matryoshka Divide. Matryoshka Divide. I'm sure that's a better way to say that, but okay. Explains how Games Workshop is defacing Warhammer 40,000 by adding female Adeptus Custodes into its lore. The company introduced a female Custodes in its upcoming codex, Adeptus Custodes, an excerpt which we read yesterday. They did. And then another excerpt makes it clear that the character is an Adeptus Custodes by revealing she wields a guardian spear. And this was a retcon from previous lore, as noted by former World of Warcraft team lead Mark Kern, who shared previous entries regarding the Adeptus Codex that make it very clear it was an all-male organization. An excerpt from Rogue Trader Rules in 1987 states, the Adeptus Custodes is the Emperor's inner guard, the members of which are privileged in being permitted to serve upon the Emperor, attending his needs, receiving and recording his directions. These men never leave Earth and are only rarely leave the Imperial Palace, an endless black hive of forbidden technology and subterranean passages delving deep within the bowels of the planet. And so here's, of course, Grums. Warhammer 40K is a grimdark sci-fi tabletop game that is the #1 miniature gaming IP in the world. The Adeptus Custodes are the Emperor's inner guard and are much stronger and better in every way than Space Marines. Introduced in the Rogue Trader Rules in 1987 and then they go on. He also shared excerpts from 2017-2018 Adeptus Custodes codexes that refer to them as a brotherhood of demigods and make it clear they were recruited from the sons of nobles. So this is all just going a long way to now. This is a retcon. There weren't female versions of this before. Me personally, I don't really care. Like I said, I've no attachment to this whatsoever. I do have friends, and they're not too happy about this. And it also sort of holds me back from, it makes me wonder what they're going to do with Henry in his show. One excerpt reads, "It is known that all custodians begin their lives as the infant sons of the noble houses of Terra. It is a mark of incredible prestige to surrender one's child to the most glorious of callings within the Imperium, and many notable clans amongst the Terran aristocracy have willingly given up almost entire generations of newborn sons to earn it." So despite it being a retcon, Games Workshop claimed that there had always been females in the Adeptus Custodes. And then, yes, we covered that yesterday. Here we have Isaac Young. It's the main point of this one. He has actually written for Warhammer before. Young reacted to these changes and explained how it's being done purely due to the current political climate in Western countries, and shared how it is defacing the story. So first he wrote, "Of course anything could happen in a story if we imagine it so. But no one in the history of good storytelling has ever written that way. Why do narratives abide by internal consistency? Why do characters fulfill archetypes? Why do we expect a logical progression of events?" He continued, "Because stories aren't just hypothetical word games where whatever we say goes. They are a reflection of our reality, however strange or distant. They are a part of the transcendent made manifest, no matter how silly or satirical. In short, they are important. And when you compromise that internal structure, that internal beauty, you are defacing it. And it's especially ugly when you deface a piece of art for a blatant political agenda that has no basis in transcendent reality. It's downright disgusting, and we all know it." Right. That's why we're covering it. That's why this is a big thing. This ain't just, they decided to do something because it made sense to the story and the world and the characters. No, this is 100% A 2024 reaction to current DEI agenda, as we've seen, has made its way into every single bit of our pop culture. There is no escapism. And when you compromise that internal structure, that internal beauty, you are defacing it. And it's especially ugly when you deface a piece of art. Yes. Okay. Next, he addressed the argument that Warhammer is not taken seriously. And they Star Wars. Why do you care? Why do you care? If it's so frivolous, why are you trying to change it and insert DEI into it? Because you do care. So that's where he says, but it's Warhammer. It's not meant to be taken seriously. If it wasn't serious, you wouldn't bother going after it. Boom. I am especially tired of this argument. No matter how silly or over the top, stories are always serious, important business because they are meant to be fun. Humanity has invested more energy into fun than any other endeavor. It's not something to be taken lightly. Just think how many trillions America alone has spent on every form of entertainment imaginable. Fun is a serious thing, and the left want to control it. Boy, that is a great... Fun is a serious thing, and the left want to control it. Yes. Yes. That is it. Isaac Young, my man. Young concluded, the push for ceaseless inclusion is nothing more than a show of power by defacing something people love. Absent of today's political climate, we all know they wouldn't be making these. And that's the point. They didn't give a shit about any of this until they found out they could grift off of it. And then all of a sudden it was important. And no better than Ads' reaction in the Starfield pronoun rant when everyone was like, what do you care? What's the big deal about pronouns? Yeah, well, you showed how much of a big deal it was by continuing to try to cancel them all these months later. Young's comments echo J.R.R. Tolkien's, of course, on fairy tales and basically like, don't ruin our stuff with your agenda. Here, I'll read it. Tolkien shared, probably every writer making a secondary world, a fantasy, every sub-creator wishes in some measure to be a real maker or hopes that he is drawing on reality, hopes that the peculiar quality of his secondary world are derived from reality or are flowing into it. If he indeed achieves a quality that can fairly be described by the dictionary definition, inner consistency of reality, it is difficult to conceive how this can be if the work does not in some way partake of reality. Right. And this is also when we talk about suspension of disbelief, and maybe we'll point something out and be like, oh, so you'll believe this, but you won't believe that? Yes. The more fantastical reality, the more things have to make sense. And the bigger asks of us to suspend disbelief, the more the smaller thing needs to be explained. And that, of course, JRR knew what it was. And here we go. And I think this goes even clearly. He goes, the moment disbelief arises, the spell is broken, the magic, or rather art, has failed. You are then out in the primary world again, looking at the little abortive secondary world from outside. And that is the point of this. As soon as you put in modern, and I noticed this in Fallout, as soon as you start putting in some modern 2024, it will pull you right out of whatever of the fictional reality, but still a reality that you were trying to create. Yeah, I don't know. Like, again, this is just... I think everything Young just said is spot on. It could be applied to all of our pop culture. Not doing any more to get me to wanting to read more of the lore. In fact, I'm really just further holding back. Like, oh, we'll see what the Henry show is. And if his Warhammer is decent, maybe I'll try to go further. But this might just be a case of it doesn't need any outside influence if Games Workshop itself is compromised. The call is coming from inside the house. Let me know what you think of this. Be sure to like, share, and sub. If you've done that, thank you. If you're going to do that, thank you. For the Emperor.
Well, bye.